Hi guys! Thank you for coming back. This is the third video. This is eyes and eyebrows. So, we're just going to get straight into it. This is pretty much it. If you haven't seen my two previous videos on how to cover the brows and how to do foundation and powder and all that, they're on my channel, but I'll put the two links down below. And if you're new, this is a 5-part video, so after this video is going to be 2 more on how to do the lips and lashes and then how to take all the makeup off, so stay tuned for all of that. But we're just going to basically get started. So we're going to do eyes and eyebrows today. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Kryolan blending powder in white and we're going to put a bit under our eyes for fallout. Oh, ow, ow, okay. So this is an important step because if you're using any dark eyeshadows and it falls to the bottom of your face and you try and rub it off, it's just going to smear. So if you put the powder on beforehand, it'll fall onto the powder and then you can just wipe it all off and it won't be a problem. So that is first. So now we're going to draw in a cut crease. So what I like to do is I just like to take a lip liner, sort of just like a neutral colour. This is sort of just like a pinky brown. This is the Maybeline lip liner in 05 Rose. And I like to just like cut a quick crease real quick. So the cut crease, you can just basically do whatever you want, really. It's all just about trying to create a bit more eyelid space so you can play with it a little bit more. What I like to do is I like to connect my cut crease to this line of my nose here. Because what I often feel like is if the cut crease just sort of ends here and just isn't blended down, or it just ends, it doesn't look natural and it just looks a little bit off. So I like to start at the top of my nose here and kind of go wherever. I usually will sit right underneath my eyebrow there, but if you have really low eyebrows and you don't have a whole lot of eyelid space to begin with, you can of course go straight over it. So we're just going to kind of okay, so once that's there and you kind of are starting to get the idea of the eye shape, I like to go in with some eyeliner. So this is the Sports Girl to the Point liquid liner. This is just like a very thin tip felt liner. It just makes it a lot easier to get a specific shape. So with your liner, what you want to do is you always want, well, you don't always, but you kind of want your whole face to just look very angled up. So you can kind of fake that facelift. So this is where this line is helpful with your powder, because you can sort of map out a bit of a line to start off with. So basically I'm just going to follow that line and bring it up and then just bring it back down. So I have a quick question here from my Instagram. This one is from some girl named Sam. She asks, how do you know how big to make your winged eyeliner to fit your eye? Mine is always too small, but if I draw it bigger, it seems too big. Is there a trick? Now my only trick I can kind of think of is sort of having it in proportion, evening it out with your cut crease. So for example, right here, if I kept this wing liner just like that, and then I blended out my crease and it was all colours and everything like that, this would look so out of place. Even right now it looks out of place. So you have to kind of understand how big to make it in proportion to your cut crease. So we're going to kind of just like bring this out and thicken it up a little bit. Okay. Okay, so that's the first one. So everyone out there who has really hooded eyes can also easily do this. You just cover your whole eyelid in eyeliner and then you just basically start on top, which is basically what I've done. But yeah, so this is kind of the shape that I'm wanting, and then in terms of what happens with the eyeshadow and the crease, I can either make it bigger, or I can make the eyeshadow bigger to sort of fit it. But yeah, it's all just about sort of feeling it out. It's also about then putting on eyebrows big enough for your eyes and just making sure that it's all in proportion, it all looks even. So that's pretty much it for the line, and now we're going to start on the crease. Okay, let's start on our cut crease. So I'm wanting to do sort of like a really brown, orangey, smoky sort of eye. So what I'm going to take is a mixture of all these oranges here. Just to start off with, and I'm taking this sort of like tapered, angled eyeshadow brush. Okay. And we're just going to blend our eye crease up. So we're going to blend it all up. Nothing too crazy, just sort of like messily to begin with. Okay, while I'm doing this, I just have a few more questions from you guys. So this one is from Ryan_Hamilton. Okay. So this one is from _Ryan Hamilton _. He asks, how do you blend shadows where your brows originally were? Don't they stick to the hairs? Now, no, they do not. So this is why spending a really solid amount of time on covering your brows is really important, because when you get to this stage and you're trying to blend your shadows, it's going to be a pain in the ass. So, yeah. I'll link below my video to both how to cover the brows and how to then do the foundation over the top, and hopefully that will answer the question, because you've really just got to take the time to get it very solid. Okay, so once I've used that, this is like it's sort of like used as a pencil just to get the colour in. Now I'm going to go in with a sort of fluffier brush to really blend it all out with those same colours again. And I'm just going to basically go everywhere and really, really blend it. I have another question here. This one is from Cry B for BYS. Cry for baby? Cry babies? Oh. Anyway, her question is tips on how to make everything look blended. Tips on how to make everything look blended. My only tip would be to just keep blending and to get a very sort of fluffy big brush and just basically just keep going. And yeah, I mean, it's just basically to just keep blending it. Just keep blending. Keep blending. Blend, like I was saying with the nose contour, blend down into the nose contour and blend up into the eyeliner, just so it all looks finished, like all the edges look finished. Yeah, I think it's just to keep going, really. I don't have a whole lot of advice for that. But I think the brush is really important. Just get a really big fluffy brush and just like blend it out. And also maybe take another big fluffy brush with no shadow on it and just go like all over it, so there's no harsh lines. And also another tip for blending actually is to start off with the lighter colours. Oh, is that how it works? Yeah. So start off with the lighter colours and then gradually introduce the darker shades as you go. So the base is all blended, and then you can just slowly start to blend darker colours into it. Because if you start off with like a black crease, which you can, but if you start off with a black crease and then you try and blend, say, this orange into it, it's all going to blend into one big colour and it won't blend all nicely. Okay, so I'm going to take this take this sort of flatter brush, sort of fluffy one, small one, and this like sort of like dark, sort of brown copper tone, and I'm gonna start just running that into the crease here. Gonna take that original brush I was using with all that orange on it, and just go straight over the top, and just like blend it all out. So I have another quick question here. This one is from Christian.x. He asks, how do you know what colours to put on your lids and how to blend them? Is there a rule or something? You and other makeup artists always just know what colours will look good. Well, there's no rule. It's just basically, what is the rule? There is no rule. There's no rule. It's just basically, knowing what colour you want on your lid. There's really no rule at all. But like in terms of shading, like blending all this together, like try and keep the warm colours together and then try and keep the cool tones together. But like say in your crease, if you were to do a different colour, in your lid area here, if you were to do a different colour, then you could introduce the warm colours mixed with the cool tones. Just don't mix them literally, because it will just turn very muddy. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's just all about knowing what look you want to have, you know? There really is no rule. I'm sorry if I can't help you on that one. But yeah. Now that's all nice and blended. We're going to go in with a bit of black. So just taking this flat, fluffy brush and just a bit of black eyeshadow, I'm just sort of like dabbing it in the corner here, up into that crease line a bit. The dabbing will sort of help to blend it as you go. Sort of just like, and then I'm going to take that original brush I had all that orange eyeshadow on, and I'm just going to basically just blend it all together. So here's another question. This one is from ner_TZA. They ask, how do I create a feminine look with a small forehead and small eye space? I would say to, because I have a big ass forehead, so I got a lot of space to work on. But what I'd say is probably just maybe go out instead of going up. And just really blend it out, bring it down maybe use a space under your eyes, like Kimchi or Trixie. A lot of queens do that, where they put like the white underneath it to make their eyes look bigger, and then they have all this space underneath to play with, like the under eye. Maybe the under eye is where you can create a lot of your look. And yeah, just stick with like maybe flat brows, or really just small brows. They don't have to come arching up, they can just be quite flat. I think it's just about sort of practicing and playing around with what will work for your face. Okay, so we're going to move on to underneath the eyes now. So I'm going to take my brush and we're going to brush back all this powder, because I don't really need that anymore. And also, just something that I'd like to maybe stress a little bit is that in every single one of these looks that I do, there's always a stage where I feel like, what the hell am I doing? This looks terrible, and I'm just going to stop and quit and start again. In every single one of the looks. If you and I sat down together and watched every single one of my videos, I could tell you the exact second that I was about to turn off that camera and take it all off. So, I also think that's a really good thing to remember, that when it is looking terrible, keep going, move on to something else, because it will come together in the end. Because drag makeup is very much like that. Like if you have full eye on and you don't have any lips on, you don't have any lashes on, you can look crazy, you might think this looks terrible. But if you keep going, it will come together. So that's a good piece. I think that's a really, really good piece of advice, is to just keep going no matter what. Maybe sometimes it might completely stuff up completely, but I think 90% of the time it will come back together. So we're going to move on to our bottom lash line. I'm going to take this little flat brush and we're going to just do a bit of blending down the bottom. So go back in with those same colours I used on the top, mix with these oranges and then a bit of this darker brown here. And we're basically just going to blend this kind of all around. Okay, we're changing brushes. So I'm going to go in with this little one that I was using for the top bit. Same colours. And we're just going to go all over. Okay, see, now this is the stage where I feel like this looks terrible. I've made so many bad decisions and we should just stop. But I'm going to keep going and see what happens. Because I want to prove to you guys that this is a real thing. So we're going to go back to eyeliner. So I'm going to extend the corners of my eyes down a little bit. Just a tiny bit. Okay, so real quick I'm going to line my bottom lash line with this eyeliner pencil. Okay, now we're going to go back to blending out this bottom line. So I'm going to take that same brush I was using and just those same colours. Kind of just a mixture of all of them. And we're really going to smoke this out a lot. Okay, same brush, I'm going to go in with a bit of black. And next we're going to put on a whole heap of mascara because it makes the biggest difference. So we're going to move on to our lid space here, which isn't very big, but we're going to do just a little something something with it. So we got quite a few questions asking what like the best sort of glitter is to use that isn't craft store glitter. And I can't say that I know because I haven't moved on from just the craft store glitter yet. I am trying to find like some better stuff. I bought these the other day, but I have to say that they're just not the same. I don't know what brand they are. They are like specific for makeup, but I wouldn't recommend them. They're just not thick enough and they don't leave as much of an impact. So I still am just on the craft store glitter, so I'm sorry if you asked that question, because I don't know. But we are going to put a bit of glitter on right now. So I'm going to take this little concealer brush and my Duo eyelash glue. And we're going to paint this pretty straightforward, just straight into that empty crease there. Okay, so I'm going to wait for that to dry, just like sort of tack up a bit. And then we're going to put on some glitter. Now the glitter I'm using today is just this tiny little stuff that I got. It's just craft store glitter, I'm sorry. But it's sort of like goldy, sort of brown. Really, you know. So you've got to make sure to wait for it to get tacky, otherwise, because I'm just going to put it straight on with my finger. If it's not tacky, it'll just sort of pull up with all the glue and it won't be fun. Okay, so just going to get a bit of my finger, straightforward, and just basically just dab it on. Straight over the top of that glue. Okay, so I want to put more glitter on. So I'm going to take a mixture of this like darker brown and this very similar colour to the one I had on my lid, and we're going to do a tiny bit on the bottom lash line here. So this is very difficult work. I'm going to take this tiny little concealer brush and that same duo that I was using. And we're just sort of like sporadically going to just do little dots on the bottom here. Okay, so we're going to move on to brows. Very exciting. So, I have a few just like general questions here. This is from Ultra Sad Guy. He asks, how do you start to draw on a brow? Then I have another one here from Jimmy Talons. How do you get your brows even? So, first you need a sharp pencil. Let me sharpen it. So, how do you start to draw on your brows? So your brows are really important to sort of like bring in your face. So, when I do my brow, I always consider the shape of my crease and like the shape of my eye. So these ones are quite flat, so I'm going to sort of follow that with my eyebrows, so keep my eyes quite flat. So what I do, I take the lightest shade that I'm going to be using. So this is a really light shade. This is the this is LOL in Zero Blonde, and I just like lightly sort of map it out just at the top of where my eyeshadow ends, and tiny arch, and then just back down again, and then just do the top. Okay, so usually what will happen at this stage, they usually aren't totally even, but I am going to go in and start filling them in. Okay. So once they're all filled in, now I like to go back in with my little concealer brush and my foundation colour, and that's when I start to sort of shape them a little bit better. Just on the bottom here. So I usually also take the same two, and I run this along the front of the brows because I usually like my brows quite ombre, so they're quite dark at the tip, and then they fade out. So that's how I do the ombre. Okay. So those are that. Now I'm going to darken up the outer corners just a tiny bit. I have this OXX eyebrow pencil in just like a dark brown. Just gonna run this along the outsides here. Okay, so that is the eyes and the eyebrows done. So thank you guys for watching. This is the end of this video. Make sure to come back tomorrow for lips and lashes. And we are one step closer to finishing this look. So thank you guys for watching. I'm so sorry if I did not answer your question. Thank you for commenting. It's just, you know, just how it goes. But I hope this was helpful, and I hope that it kind of answered a few questions for you guys regardless. So yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow for the rest of this look. So I'll see you then. Bye!